Dover Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, while most of the boxing fans are going through the Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin residue, I called that one right, basically, right? What's happening on that fight? Close fight. It was a good fight. Let's see what happens. I would hope them for both of them to go different ways and beat up some of these guys that are in the middleweight division that are just as good as them. But as that's going on, we got to move up to the heavyweights. You know what I mean? The heavyweights going down. We got Anthony Joshua got a fight coming next week against Povetkin, right? So it got me, thinking, because a lot of times people call you when you wanted Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder, right? That was the biggest fight in boxing. Then you could be called a fanboy. And I think fanboy is supposed to be an insult, right? I guess fanboy, because it kind of, I think it would mean what I consider to be people that are fans of a boxer instead of boxing fans, right? And I've explained it on several occasions that if you're a fan of boxing, you just want to see the good fights, right? If you become a fan of a boxer, then you want this boxer to finagle his way through. You don't care if he fights the hard fights or not. You start worrying about his pockets and, how he can get around fighting good fighters. And you're with him unconditionally. That would be my definition of somebody who's more than a fan and becomes a so-called fanboy, which I don't really get into, right? But I've noticed, with this Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua things, you can become a fanboy if you just want to see the fight between the two, right? And so I'm thinking if that's what a fanboy means, acknowledging the talents or, hoping for future fights, then who's the biggest Deontay Wilder fanboy? Might be the promoter of Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn. Because, it depends on that. Look at, if I say this, hey, don't nobody believe that Povetkin's hard for Anthony Joshua. It's 9-1 odds. Nobody believes that. Then maybe because you sound like me and look like me, then you're a Deontay Wilder fanboy. Eddie Hearn says the same thing. Well, no one's really wants to come to the fight because they're asking me about the Deontay Wilder fight on the streets. The same thing, isn't it? Right? Hey, the Joshua versus Povetkin fight is not sold out. They sell out all the time, but it's not sold out. Then, you could be a fanboy for saying that. The promoter of Anthony Joshua says it. Well, it's not sold out. We got to get coach places and whatever he says, we don't have it. It's not sold out. They made the stadium bigger, but it's not sold out. And here's the deal. Anthony Joshua sells out up until now. So it's a big deal, right? I say it, or someone that looks like me, sounds like me, you might be a Deontay Wilder fanboy. The promoter of Anthony Joshua says it, right? That's a fanboy type of thing. Now, the fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua is the biggest fight out there. We want to see it. It's a huge fight. That's what I might sound like. Eddie Hearn might say, it's a massive fight. Not only is it a massive fight, it's a massive risk, right? Sound like the same thing I'm saying, just a different thing. It's apartments or flats. It's trucks or lorries. It's closets or wardrobes. But it's the same thing, more or less, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? I'm just holding it back now. I'm just saying. Now, the other thing is like, hey, that fight with Tyson Fury, that's too early. You don't want to fight no Deontay Wilder after that, man. Deontay Wilder's too awesome for that. Can't be fighting him after two fights coming back. Tyson Fury might sound like a Deontay Wilder fanboy, right? Same thing coming from Eddie Hearn. I don't think the fight's happening. You don't fight Deontay Wilder after 2 fights. It's too dangerous. That fight won't happen. He's going to pull out. Why? Because Deontay Wilder is dangerous. So I don't know if Eddie Hearn is the king of the Wilder fanboys, or is he, because he speaks the exact same language, if you ask me. So I'm just saying, that fanboy stuff, you're going to have to get up off of it, because it's basically just seeing it how it is. And let's make sure something else too. Most people, right, or boxing fans, didn't get on, start being a Wilder fan right when he was born or years ago. He started beating people up and people started respecting him. He started calling people out, trying to fight people. People started getting dope and not fighting him. And everybody's been knocked out that he's faced. Those are the reasons that people became fans. And another thing, Anthony Joshua, no one hating on Anthony Joshua when he was boring or when he's just started fighting. Everyone liked Anthony Joshua, right? What happened is when you start getting into negotiations with Deontay Wilder, your colors are showing. First of all, it's obvious you don't want to fight him, and you're getting away with it because fans are coming to see him anyway. Then you start seeing things, these attributes like entitlement, right? Or you're looking down on other things, like it's different classes, right? Right? He's a lower class. I can offer him this. I can offer him that. I can ignore his offer. We're the A side, right? All of those things can irk people. And then when you put the number down and you get offered way more than anyone else, right, in the boxing history, and you ignore that, then you're going to start losing fans. Let me tell you something. And the thing about Anthony Joshua, he's going to become a global star, right? He's a global star. He's going to be the first billionaire. That's not going to happen if he doesn't fight Deontay Wilder. And a global, I don't know if you guys are considering the States a part of the globe, but he will not become a bigger star in the States without beating Deontay Wilder. Not now. It probably would have happened. Now remember, guys, they're both black. So when he hits American soil, that will matter. Now, if he's a white dude, you might have luck, but he's a brother too. So they hating on brothers. Okay? In America, you're getting hated on. You ain't getting no extra props for being a black fighter. Blacks can fight. No one's impressed, right? Because Deontay would be a star already. But he's not. So you're going to have to do something like beat Deontay Wilder and be the undisputed baddest dude. Then maybe. Because let me make sure it's clear. Lennox Lewis wasn't huge in America. Just acknowledged. Because the people that we wanted him to lose to just didn't. If it was Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe didn't fight him. And Mike Tyson, the one we consider to be the baddest one, didn't want to fight him. They swept that under the rug. Hope people didn't know. But then when they finally fought, Lennox Lewis was younger than him. They called Tyson older. Aging. Like they're doing Sergey Kovalev now. At the end of the day, you ain't going to be that famous in America anyway. But if you want to be a global star, you're going to probably have to hit that because America is a part of the globe. So at some point, you're going to have to fight the dude. And it's going to always haunt you for not fighting him in the first place. So let me make sure this is clear. I don't think that most people that are still watching the Joshua Deontay Wilder negotiations and how that went down, the people that put that in their head and fathom what happened, right, are basically in unison here, right? Now, when you're arguing about it, I won't argue with a woman about Anthony Joshua, for example. Or if a woman is coming in saying some comments or something, I won't argue with her. You never know. A woman, she has a right to want to do something oral and immoral with the guy. So why should I want to argue with them? And the same goes for gays. I wouldn't argue with them either. And maybe it's something else going on there that just doesn't have to do with boxing. But a guy filled with testosterone, right? Then I'm brother. If you look at those negotiations, then you're going to come on the same. You got to go and be on the same one side. One guy wanted it, one didn't, right? At least not now. And so the one that wanted to fight should be the one that's the most prominent. Now, the other one has fans that are going to the fight in their country, right? We're good for them. But we're talking world here. We're not talking British and Commonwealth. We're talking world here. So I don't know if anybody is a fanboy because they want to see a fight between two guys. And they're a little bit irked at the one that doesn't want it. That's kind of normal. What's abnormal is someone who's giving the guy tons of excuses, right? And still want to call him better. Still want him to be entitled. Something is probably wrong with you if I haven't touched what it is. But if you have a problem or a question you want to ask, maybe you want to ask the king of the Deontay Wilder fanboys. That would be Eddie Hearn. Doma Sports Talk. Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.